If you're in debt, you're not alone. 77% of Americans carry some form of debt right now. But knowing that doesn't make the bills pile up any slower, or the dread go away when your phone rings from an unknown number. This isn't about shame. It's a 6-step system I call the escape sequence. The exact steps to stop the bleeding, get control of your money, and build a real path out. You're not broken, you're just stressed. And stress is a liar. This is your turning point. Let's get started. Step 1. The debt inventory. Step 1 of the escape sequence is the one most people skip. The debt inventory. Before you can build a plan, you need the real numbers, not a guess. Not "it's bad, I don't want to look," the actual numbers. Here's why this feels so hard. Once people start falling behind, the instinct is to stop looking. Leave the bills unopened, avoid the banking app, let the calls go to voicemail. That's not laziness. It's your brain protecting you from stress. But avoiding the number doesn't shrink it. It just keeps growing in the dark, collecting interest and late fees while you're not watching. So here's what you're going to do. Open a notes app, a spreadsheet, whatever's easiest. For every single debt you have, every credit card, student loan, car payment, that medical bill you've been avoiding, write down 4 things. 1. Who you owe. 2. How much you owe, the full number. 3. The interest rate, the APR. 4. The minimum monthly payment. Go through every statement. Log into every account. Be thorough. When you're done, add it all up. Total debt and total minimum payments per month. This part might sting. Seeing the real number can feel like a gut punch. But right after that sting comes something you probably haven't felt in a while. Clarity. The number has a name now. It's not a vague fear anymore. It's something you can actually plan against. And a plan is what turns you from someone debt is happening to into someone taking control. Step 2. Stop the bleeding. Step 2 of the escape sequence. Stop creating new debt. Starting today. You know the moment I'm talking about. You're standing at checkout, the total is more than you wanted, and there's that split-second thought, just this once, I'll figure it out later. That's the moment that got you here. Not one big mistake. 100 small, just this once moments. One swipe at a time. You just found every hole in your finances in step 1. Every new charge on a card you can't pay off makes that hole deeper, and it makes everything you're about to do in this video harder. So before we build anything, we close the leak. Here's how. Take your credit cards out of your wallet. If you're ready to cut them up, do it. If that feels too final right now, that's okay. Put them somewhere with friction. A drawer, a box. Somewhere you have to stop and think before you use them. You're not punishing yourself, you're just removing the autopilot. From today, it's cash or debit only. And there's a reason this works. When you hand over real money, it registers as a loss. Your brain feels it. A card swipe doesn't feel like anything until a bill shows up weeks later attached to a purchase you've half forgotten. Delete the buy now, pay later apps. Unsubscribe from the sale emails that are basically designed to make you spend money you weren't planning to spend. A 20% off sale isn't saving you 20%, it's spending 80% you didn't budget for. This step is going to feel uncomfortable. You'll be at that same checkout moment, and this time you'll have to say no. To yourself, not to anyone else watching. That's the hardest kind of no there is. But every time you do it, you're not just avoiding a charge, you're proving to yourself that the version of you who needed debt to get through the week doesn't have to be the version of you anymore. Step 3. The budget that actually works. Step 3 of the escape sequence. Build a budget you'll actually follow. Here's the truth most debt videos won't tell you. The reason your past budgets failed probably isn't discipline. It's that they were designed for a person with no debt and no stress. And that's not who you are right now. A budget that ignores your reality doesn't fail because you're weak. It fails because it was never built for you in the first place. So we're doing this differently. Not some 12-category spreadsheet with a line for miscellaneous entertainment. Just 3 buckets. Bucket 1. The essentials. Rent or mortgage. Utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, minimum payments on every debt from your inventory. This is what keeps the lights on and keeps you current. Nothing else touches this money. Bucket 2. Extra debt payoff. This is the number we build in step 4, whatever you can send toward debt beyond the minimums. Bucket 3, everything else. What's left for actual living? The coffee, the night out, the small things that make this process sustainable instead of miserable. Here's the part people get wrong. They try to skip straight to bucket 3 being 0. Cut everything, white-knuckle it, save every possible dollar. And it works, for about 3 weeks. Then the restriction snaps back as a binge, and they're right back where they started, except now with guilt attached too. You don't need a budget that punishes you. You need one you can actually live inside for the next 12 months, because that's roughly how long this is going to take. So be honest with bucket 1. Write down what you actually spend, not what you wish you spent, and leave a little room in bucket 3 on purpose. A sustainable plan you follow beats a perfect plan you abandon in 3 weeks, every single time. Step 4. The debt snowball. Step 4 of the escape sequence. Attack the debt in the right order. This is where the escape sequence actually starts working for you, instead of you just holding the line. And the method is simple. It's called the debt snowball. Here's how it works. List every debt from your step 1 inventory, smallest balance to largest. It doesn't matter what the interest rate is. Smallest to largest, full stop. Pay the minimum on all of them, and every extra dollar from bucket 2 goes toward the smallest one. Once that's gone, you take everything you were paying on it, the old minimum plus the extra, and roll it onto the next smallest. It snowballs. Each debt you clear makes the next one fall faster. Let's make this real with numbers. Say you have a store card at $500, a credit card at $2,500, a personal loan at $8,000, and a car loan at $20,000. Mathematically, the smartest move is attacking the highest interest rate first. But here's what actually gets people to the finish line. Attacking the store card first. Why? Because you clear it in a month or two. And that first win does something a spreadsheet can't measure. It proves to your brain that this is actually possible. That momentum is what gets you through debt number 2, and 3, and 4. This is also the moment where you start to feel the shift. 6 months ago, you were avoiding your banking app. Now you're checking it because you want to watch a balance hit 0. That feeling, that's not just about money anymore. That's what it feels like to be in control again. Every debt you clear isn't just a number disappearing. It's proof that the person who got into this, through no single bad decision, but 100 small ones, is not the same person who's going to get out of it. Step 5. Find extra money. Step 5 of the escape sequence. Find extra fuel for the snowball. Everything up to this point has been about controlling what's already there. The budget, the order of attack. Step 5 is different. This is about actively finding more money to throw at the fire, because the faster you feed the snowball, the faster this whole thing is over. There are 2 ways to do this, and you should be doing both. The first is inside your own budget. Go back to bucket 1, the essentials, and ask, is everything in there actually essential? That streaming subscription you forgot you had, the gym membership you haven't used in 4 months, the subscription boxes on autopay. None of these make you a bad person for having them. But right now, every dollar they're quietly taking is a dollar that could be closing out a debt months sooner. Cancel what you don't use. Downgrade what you do. The second is outside your budget entirely, bringing in more money. This doesn't have to mean a second full-time job. It can be smaller than that, selling things you no longer use. Old electronics, clothes, furniture sitting in a garage, picking up freelance work in something you're already good at, a few hours of weekend work through a gig app. None of it has to be permanent. It just has to exist for the months it takes to get through this. Here's the mindset shift that matters most. Every extra dollar you find isn't just extra dollar. If you're carrying credit card debt at 20% interest, a $100 payment today isn't just $100. It's $100 plus every dollar of interest that debt would have generated for as long as it sat there. You're not just spending money to make debt disappear. You're buying back your future paychecks, the ones that would have otherwise gone straight to a bank instead of to you. This step is temporary. It won't last forever, just as long as it takes to get the snowball moving fast enough to finish the job. Step 6. Build your safety net. Step 6 of the escape sequence. Build your safety net. Here's a question worth asking. What actually put you in debt in the first place? Maybe it was the small stuff we already talked about, or maybe it was one unexpected thing. A car repair, a medical bill, a month with less work than usual, something you had no way to pay for in cash, so it went on a card. And that one moment turned into years of minimum payments. Either way, the final step isn't about paying off what's behind you. It's about making sure the next surprise doesn't send you right back here. Start small. Before anything else, get $1,000 set aside in a separate account. One you don't touch, don't think about, don't count as spending money. This isn't your vacation fund or your just in case I want something fund. It exists for one purpose only, so the next flat tire or ER visit doesn't become a new balance on a credit card. Once your debt is fully paid off using the snowball, you keep going, this time building it up to 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. Not essentials plus extras. Just what it costs to keep the lights on and food on the table if income stopped tomorrow. Here's why this step matters as much as any of the ones before it. Without it, you're one bad month away from restarting this entire process, running the escape sequence all over again. With it, a surprise expense becomes an inconvenience instead of a crisis. That's the actual difference between someone who gets out of debt once and someone who stays out for good. This is the step that makes everything else permanent. That's the escape sequence. 6 steps. Know your numbers, stop the bleeding, build a budget that fits your real life, snowball your way through, find extra fuel, and build the safety net that keeps you out for good. You're one of the 77% of Americans carrying debt right now, but you don't have to be one of the millions still carrying it 5 years from now. The only difference between the two is whether you start. You're not broken. You were never broken. You were just stressed. And stress is a liar. It tells you this is permanent. It isn't. This is your turning point. So tell me, right now, in the comments, which step are you starting with today? Write it down. Make it real. I'll see you in the next one.